All right, guys. How we doing?
Decent.
No bad. No bad.
Well, welcome to This Is My Story podcast. Back with the three of us this week. Obviously, you're probably enjoying the solo podcast, but we've got a few of us back. Before we obviously start, just like to, after the news that came out today, just send our respects and thoughts and prayers to the family of Stevie Morris. Proper gentleman, proper arts guy, and all of us in the podcast. Just send our respects. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Bye. How are we, gentlemen? It's been a couple of weeks. Kev, have you got over your, what are we calling it? Bruges flu? Bruges cold? Bruges, I don't know. Have you got over it yet, mate?
I don't think we can class it as a cold, as a flu, or anything like that. It's just sheer alcoholic poisoning. As I was saying before we started hitting the record button, myself and a number of others definitely got through some fair whack of Belgian beer and spirits. But yeah, really good trip. Met a good few guys. Met one guy, spoke to him in a pub for about 20 minutes. He had a lot of good things to say, but I can't remember his name. So that gives you an idea of how pissed I was.
And you probably had nothing good to say, so.
God, no, never have. Never will.
So, Ando, how you doing yourself, man?
Good. I've had a few weeks off. Feel like I've been on holiday, but it's back here and ready to chat shit about Hearts.
Absolutely. And obviously, Corbett is halfway around the world. The jet-setting lifestyle of a podcasting.
Eating a lot of spaghetti and building an army. He messaged me yesterday or the day before in Cebu in the Philippines and sent me pictures of their menu and all the stuff that they've got over there. It looks fucking class. It's all beige and handles the spaghetti and noodles and stuff. Looks like he's having a right good old time.
Spaghetti hoops on toast for Corbett, his favourite.
He's a total man-child, isn't he?
Absolutely. So, it's been a couple of weeks since we've all been involved. Just life has got in the way, travelling, and yeah, all the best to the guys going out this week after Kev. As you said, you're just getting over it, and there's some boys going back out to Copenhagen this week to do it all over again. So
I've got a couple of mates who, one of them, he flew today to Amsterdam. He's got an overnight stay in Amsterdam before then travelling Amsterdam to Copenhagen tomorrow mid-afternoon. I think there's a high chance that he misses the flight, if I'm being truthfully honest with you. I know what he's like.
There's quieter stopovers than that, isn't there?
I was going to say Amsterdam's dangerous enough at the best of times. Never mind, like when you're totally full of the tart fuel on the way to the football.
100%. And the other guys, they're going out to Hamburg and then getting a train for Hamburg to Copenhagen, which
that's even better. Hamburg's
that sounds like a good
absolutely.
I haven't been to Hamburg. It's
mental.
It can compete with Amsterdam and the mental levels. So
they're not too bad. They're doing it the right way. They're flying to Hamburg tomorrow, train tomorrow afternoon or late evening on Copenhagen, but they're having a night in Hamburg on the way back. So Saturday night in Hamburg and then fly back on Sunday. I think they both will be in a bad way on Monday, Tuesday, and possibly Wednesday. Knowing them too.
Get the excuse book ready with the good ladies.
Only one of them needs to worry about that.
Okay, fair enough.
So Christmas is cancelled, is what you're saying, Kev? Is that it?
Big time.
Aye. So it was. We've not actually discussed the Aberdeen game since we've been on, but it's over. It's in the past. We move on. We'll talk here and now. There's been a lot of happenings in the world of Hearts over the last week.
The only thing to call out is, of course, the injuries. To lose, and one thing I would say is to lose Kent, to lose Kingsley on that particular game, and still actually, in my opinion, batter Aberdeen. How the hell we never won that game is beyond me, if I'm being truthfully honest with you. Some decisions from the referee were even worse than some of our finishing, but there you go. We got a point, and yeah, we move on.
Pretend I know nothing about these injuries. What is the assessment?
You know nothing.
Okay.
For the good people out there who are listening,
Kingsley looks like he's out for the season. It looks like a rupture of his hamstring. If it's to be anything like Hoff's hamstring injury, there's a chance that we might see Kingsley back by the season 27-28, which is the final season before his contract's up, given our record with regards to injuries. And Kent's was a strange one. Kent was holding his knee, but when he was actually going off the park, it looked more like it was actually in his hip or groin area. But I've not actually read anything on that, but they think that he'll be out for probably another 2 to 3 weeks. So we should see him back just before Christmas, fingers crossed.
Okay.
But he'll be missing for tomorrow night's game and in the couple of games we've got.
I heard that story before though, Kev. They'll say he'll be out for a couple of weeks. So when will we see him?
Yeah.
2026.
3 weeks before Kingsley.
Exactly that. But no, I think you're right though. They stay on the pitch, we don't lose that goal. They stay on the pitch, we win that game. Easy as that. But that's your auntie had balls to be your uncle type thing. So absolutely that. Right. Do you want to talk football? Do you want to talk AGMs? Do you want to talk?
Let's do AGM. Let's get the shite stuff over the way.
Do you want to go in chronological order of AGMs then?
Jesus Christ.
What? This is like
there's 2 AGMs on Monday, Ando. So
I know this is a plaster you're pulling off really slowly. Just go into it.
Right, we'll talk the full board AGM first of all. The one that I suppose got more of the headlines in a sense, but probably means less than what was there. I assume none of us were there. I certainly wasn't myself. No,
life's too short for that nonsense.
Yeah,
no
totally.
chance.
So, I think the big talking points from it, tell me if I'm wrong, but obviously we've got the Jamestown Analytics talked that through. They've talked about the potential investment from Jamestown and Tony Bloom himself. They are saying there is a target in place already for a striker in January. And there's rumours that may be a Brazilian buying his trade in the J League. If I'm correct, there was some names going bandied about, but not too sure. Other than that, Andrew McKinley, in the way he always does and tends to say, he provided a headline in terms of communication and said that still feels we'll finish top 6. But I think other than that,
there wasn't much else. But I don't see any reason why that's been made such a big thing. I think if you look at it at the end of the day, we're not that far off top 6 at the moment, even with the crap start that we've actually had to the season. You know, you look at it, and it was Corbett he came out saying he was bold to say that Shankland will still finish top goal scorer or will be top goal scorer by January. He's like something like 3 goals behind the top goal scorer at the moment. So, you know, when you consider that and you consider where we're placed in the league, who else is round about us, and the games coming up over the next 6 weeks up until the Dundee United game, in all honesty, you could be, there's nothing really wrong to say that we would finish top 6.
But for me, Kev, it's just concentrate on the here and now, man. It's like he's came out before and said, "Well, we'll match the Old Firm or be ready to try and split them and beat them and whatever." I just think there's bigger priorities at the moment for me, and it's
100%,
win football
100%.
matches.
But you've got to remember, from a CEO point of view, he's also got to try and sell the club. If we're looking at investment, he's got to try and sell the club. He's got to sell that particular proposition. I think there's an element of some of the stuff that he comes out with is aimed that way. However, in my opinion, he sometimes doesn't word it in the right way. He does set himself up to be hammered in the press and by ourselves and other fans who would rather he just shut his mouth and let the team do the talking on the park. And that's also many of us say about the players themselves. They'll come out in the press and say we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and we're going to do the next thing, and then not actually achieve or do that on the park. I'm going to call him out. Danda said it right back at the first game of the season, and I'm sorry to say, but I don't think Danda's hit the heights that he did with Ross County. That's just my opinion.
Done nothing.
I wouldn't disagree.
It frustrated the hell out of me at Bruges or in Bruges. Because every time he got the ball, he turned it inside, where he had to then try and beat 3-4 players when there was a massive big gap of space right in front of him. Put it in the space, pal, and run onto it. it's not exactly rocket science.
Yeah, and I think it says a lot that he's not really been. He's only had a bit of minutes here and there in the last few weeks, to be honest.
Correct.
And that's very much on his level of sort of performance. Obviously, we'll get on to it, so we'll probably have a bit more to talk about the Jamestown stuff when we discuss. But obviously, talking budget, January, striker priority. Do we all agree with that? I do, to be fair.
Probably two, because it can't just be one, because like Shankland's gone, we all know that, right? Let's be real about it. You're going to need a couple, because everything that's left after that is just it's not good enough. We desperately are lacking in goals, and obviously Shankland got a couple at the weekend. Fine, we'll cover that in more detail in a minute, but his contribution has been crap so far this season, and we're suffering as massively as a consequence of that. So 100%. Rest of the park obviously needs improvement as well, but the first priority is the striker, and that's the hardest position to fill.
100%, you know what I mean? Especially in January.
Yeah, exactly. Well. So it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I think it's good to hear that they've already got targets, and I would hope they've already used the analytics that is going to be the basis of our sort of recruitment policy going forward. So
who knows what that'll look like? Me about this, right, is that I'm already, and I called it out at the time, which is if you're going to use this analytics, you 100% have to lean into it and just go with it, right? But then there's all this rhetoric coming out now of saying, oh, well, we'll have to make sure they're the right fit for the club. What? So this is, they're going to wheel them in. If Budge likes them, then we'll sign them. If not, then it's off you pop, and let's have a look at the next one in the conveyor belt. I just don't like it already. Like, I wish, I don't know, it's a bit like you shouldn't trust all like analytics or automation and all that, but every time we go on holiday, your aeroplane flies itself there on autopilot, like most of the way. Pilot's just sat up there drinking champagne and eating caviar nibblings or whatever. It's like, it's already frustrating me that we're not properly, it seems like we're just not leaning into this 100%. And maybe that's just a gross exaggeration, but
I think the only part about the fit for the club and whatever, I think that's just purely on the manager, though. Do you don't think that if Critchley wants them as a player, or do you think it goes out the window at that point and he should just take what he's given?
I'll be honest, I still don't see Critchley's just meh for me. I think you tell him who he's getting. That's it. It's like, let's be honest, Critchley, how long is he going to be here? He goes through a bad run of form. You know what Hearts fans, it will become toxic as it always does. We'll bay for blood, and then eventually he'll get horsed, and all the players are still going to be there. So most of the players will outlive this manager, if I'm being brutally honest, in my opinion. So I don't even think you have to worry about what he thinks.
To be fair, you are speaking for... I don't necessarily agree, but you're definitely speaking from experience there. So,
yep.
I don't know. Fair. Obviously, then, after that in the day, anything I missed in terms of that AGM, Kev, Ando, anything you've seen, what I talk about? Hotels at 90% occupancy, expecting hundreds of money next year.
How many rooms does it actually have? Like, I would probably covered this in a previous episode.
I was going to say about 15 to 20, but 14, that's probably about right.
Okay.
Fair 200 quid a night or something, is it, roughly? 14.
It depends on time of year, what else is on in the city, all that kind of stuff will come into that equation. But yeah, it tends to, the chat is that its occupancy is in the higher percentages, which again is a good thing. Probably another thing that will be used when you're looking at particular investment within the club. Because it's a route to further financial stability. So from that side of things, they're good. These are good to know. But as we have said before many times, that's not what makes me buy a season ticket.
Yeah, who cares? Right. Exactly. They're not like it's like 600 or 700 quid for the night at Oasis or something though. But that's supply and demand for you. There you go. Right, Foundation of Hearts AGM. obviously a bit more exciting. We sat down with the candidates, interviewed them over the time, and obviously Claire Hammond, Gary Locke, Jerry Mallon all got voted in. So well done and congrats to them. No really much else to say, just hope we see improvements and as they wanted. But obviously the big vote, that to be honest with you, I'll also bring this in, and when we talk about improvements, what an absolute farce trying to vote in this was, because I ended up getting up in the end, and you can see by the voting turnout, what was it, 1,000 or something? It was the actual turnout for the vote. But
that's pathetic.
If it wasn't so difficult and it was able to vote like you were able to in the elections, I would have definitely voted. And I knew what I wanted to vote, and I knew that I wanted to vote for it. But I'm just maybe just technically.
So really, what you're trying to say, Tam, is you just wanted the Foundation of Hearts to sign out a tweet and then give you the three options there. Would that have made life easier for you?
No, not as easy as that. That would have definitely made my life easier. But if they just done a secure voting poll with a number you typed in, this is your number, there you go. I don't think it's particularly hard, but that's me. I could have probably set it up myself, but there we go. There's a bold statement for you. But anyway, the good news is, and I'm sure we all say it's good news, I think there was, what was it, 6 votes opposed to the vote? Something like that. Anyway, but the voting changed, so instead of 90% of the votes needed to reduce the shares, it is now 75% to reduce the shares for if we want to reduce the shareholding between 50.1 and 75%. So in majority shareholder wise. And then if it's any more than that, it's still the 90% that is required. But obviously we all know why this is sort of been put in place. We know what it's for, but it is to give the option for Jamestown or Tony Bloom himself to essentially get some shares in the club and to put some investment into the club. So are we glad to see that come to fruition? Obviously, we need to see it probably the signed, sealed and whatever, but move in the right direction then?
Yeah, I think so. I think if it's money, it's always welcome, because while we're in a reasonably strong position financially, you don't know what the future's going to hold, like the James Anderson money and all that sort of stuff. Like how long's he going to be kicking about for? Or like, it just gives us bailouts all the time. You know what I mean? Then I think because we've got good infrastructure, good stadium, quite a lot of things. We don't have any, massive bills that we need to just sort of automatically divert that money into holes. If that makes sense. Not like look at Man United, for example. Old Trafford's falling to bits. If they got an investment, like they're gonna have to spend millions and millions of pounds, fixing the stadium and all that sort of nonsense. Whereas I think we're quite sound. Good training facilities, good setup, good stadium. I think it can only be a good thing, and hopefully it turns into playing staff on the park that can actually make a difference.
Absolutely. And to be fair, you say about us being a sort of positive outlook. I think Tony Bloom himself is, for me, it's good. He doesn't look like the type of guy like a Romanov that wants the full ownership. He's going to make all the decisions. I think he's a guy that genuinely wants to invest, wants to use his product that he believes in so much, and then also just a guy that likes football and wanting projects to sort of build on as
buying shares in a company and living off the dividends. That's probably what his aim is. So obviously he's not going to do it for nothing. He'll be wanting something out of it. But then if it's proven his concept and developing his brand even further, so he's got another what's the word? He's got another club that he can add to the portfolio of look how fucking good this is when he's selling it to other folk. Then fine. If we benefit from it and it makes him look good, fine. It's mutually beneficial.
Absolutely. So, Kev, when are we winning the league? And,
I think
we'll win the championship next year.
Yeah, it's a bold statement. But what we as fans have got to remember, and I said this to Corbett a couple of weeks ago when it was him and I on the pod, is we have to. And Ando, you've already touched on this. We have to trust it. right? We've got to trust the analytics. We've got to trust the process. We as fans are wankers, really. I think that's the right phrase. When it comes to when it comes to
Tried
players,
to put that
right?
politely there, Ken.
I did. There's no other way. There's no other way around it, right?
By the way, none of us are disagreeing with you.
Nope.
100%. No, but that's the thing, right? We get a new player comes in, right? We all think it's the marquee signing that we've all been waiting for. We expect, if it's a striker, we expect him to score at least a double in his first game. Then when he plays his first home match, he's got to score at least 3 or 4, like Mark de Vries, right? And if he then has, let's say 3 games where he doesn't even hit the target, never mind score, we're on his back. We're giving him absolute dog's abuse, right?
So what you're saying is Gerald Taylor. He started well, fell off.
Well, I think with Gerald Taylor it's slightly different. As in, he started well, he fell off, and then we just lost him altogether from an injury point of view. But no, I think what you've got to remember is this is a long process, right? You invest in maybe 2-3 players. You then look to sell those 2 or 3 players on for profit. You then use that profit to then buy another 2 or 3 good players, which then, of course, as Ando's just said, it improves your squad, it improves your performance on the park. By improved performance on the park, you start to win things, and hopefully that means trophies. And yes, why not have the want and the will to actually win the league? We are light years behind Celtic. I think we all know that. And from that point of view, that's a standard we've got to get to if we are at all possible. But it's a very difficult ask when they will continuously win the league and then get European football, which then generates them a higher amount of actually money to go and spend. That game the other week there against Celtic, they brought on the park after 72 minutes or something like that, 17-18 million pound worth of players. That's our squad put together in total, and possibly including the nets for the goals. So it's a long process. We've got to trust it, and let's keep our fingers crossed that we actually do trust the whole process, and when we see the fruition in 3, 4, 5 years' time.
Are you thinking as long as that in terms of seeing like impact straight away?
You're not going to. I don't think you're going to see impact. I don't think you see immediate impact. I think you'll see a progression within a season and a half, or 2 seasons. Or let's say 3 transfer windows. You'll see, hopefully, that will start to improve the product on the park. But I think you're looking at easily 6 to 8 transfer windows to get yourself into a position where you are regularly turning players over for profit. And that's what this is all about, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You're right.
Go back to the previous point I made about Critchley not being here as long as some of these players. And that's, I don't know, like, agenda against him or anything like that. It's just the reality we live in.
Are you saying that because Critchley is going to be so good that other clubs down south are going to be looking at him? I am joking, right? Didn't answer that question.
I was going to say, do you want me to answer that? Because I will.
I like Critchley, man. I think he, with the right players and his own players, I think he could do well. But I'm just worried it's maybe too much an ask at the moment. But yeah.
Well, I like that you like him.
Yeah, thanks. That's nice. That's the nicest thing you've probably
have
ever
you
said
got his, Have you got his signature on your lunchbox yet?
Nah.
No.
Tried to go to the calendar signing every week there, but they said I was too old, so I wasn't allowed. I'm just joking.
I was going to say, do we do calendar signings now, do we?
They always do them.
Do they?
Yeah, once Christmas time every year, I believe.
Okay.
Well, there's no point doing a calendar signing in fucking May, is there?
True. Forget about that. Why is that, Kev? No. Right. Where were we? My lunchbox, right?
No. Fucking hell.
Anyway, I think it is the right way forward for me. I think the foundation as well. I think we're probably all in agreement. It's probably took us as far as we possibly can, in a way, in terms of how far it can take us. And I think this is the logical step to the sort of next step, and really trying to sort of establish yourself as third, and then possibly even going as further there. We kind of keep doing this season on season, sort of third. I know we finished fourth, but kind of guaranteeing on the European money, and then moving on. I think this is the sort of way to really take us next level and compete at a higher level as well.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything to add?
Nah.
Just on to the games.
Aye. So, obviously, Dundee game on Saturday. Lovely day at Tynecastle, where it was wind, rain, everything, and wasn't expecting much of a performance, but I was pleasantly surprised, to be honest. Obviously, we didn't discuss it. Well, we touched on it with the injuries to the centre half, but Halkett, were you happy enough for him to keep his position pre-match, Kev?
I think from a point of view of he didn't really have much else or much other option. From that point of view, I think that was the right step. I know against Aberdeen, Oyegoke came inside. He started, or he was part of that formation of the centre backs, and Forrester played in a right back. But I've quite liked Oyegoke in that right back role. I just wish he'd be a wee bit more confident in himself.
Yeah.
I don't mean this in he's a big lad. Go and give their left back. Go and give him a challenge. Go and ask him questions.
See when he gets running with the ball as well. He's quite hard to get up against. You notice it.
Yeah, I think that from that point of view, and really, if you look at it, who else were you going to play instead of Halkett?
Yeah.
He played pretty well when he came on against Aberdeen. Once he got into the actual speed of the game, and I think what you seen on Saturday from him was a bit of assurance, if you know what I mean. He looked a bit more assured. I think he knows himself that he's not going to sort of go on those big mazy runs that he would do once or twice in a game. He knows perfectly well that actually, do you know what? My game now is win the header, win my own challenge, my own fight against whoever that may be, and move the ball on. And he's got players in front of him that can actually do that, especially guys like Boateng, I think, is very, very underrated.
Yeah.
He's got those players around him. And I thought, again, Rowles never really put a foot wrong as such on Saturday. So from that point of view, I can't see that particular partnership being broken up at any time soon, given that I think Kent, they did say there was a chance of him playing against Dundee, but I never thought that was ever going to be possible. I think you might see him back after the Kilmarnock game.
Yeah, there's plenty of games to play in the next few weeks, so plenty of opportunities. But no, I agree. I was pleasantly surprised about how Halkett's been, especially there's been points when he's came in over the last couple of years when he's not been playing games, he's come in and he's not looked the same player. But I think the last two games he looks assured, as you say. And I think he only lost one aerial duel the whole game, which
he's always been
enough.
like that though.
Yeah,
it's like even though he's only a wee guy, like he's reasonably wee, then he always wins his aerial battles. He has one thing that he's got in the locker really, really good. So
yeah, he's also pretty good at passing the ball as well. But you forget that. That's one thing I noticed. He's no fear to like pass the ball long as well, which I actually quite like. Sometimes with previous managers, we were passing short passes for the sake of short passes when you're better just going direct sometimes as well. Obviously, Penrice came back in. Are we all just love him at the moment, or his best signing of the season so far?
Best. I think he just edges it.
It's him and Boateng, isn't it? Really.
100%. Boateng's brilliant. Like everybody has their off moments, or something that he shouldn't have maybe done, something that he could do better or whatever. But we've been doing this for fucking 3.5, 4 years now, and we've never got it perfect once. So it's it's one of them. I think the Penrice for me so far, but only just.
Says a lot when we're not really missing Alex Cochrane, are we? Would you say?
I don't think so.
Well, we don't have to put up with his stupid amount of yellow cards that he always picked up, or his red cards as well.
Although Penrice is just off the back of a suspension, but that's right.
And yellow carded on Saturday.
Yellow carded again.
You know what I mean? No. Like, how many times did Cochrane get sent off in his Hearts career? Was it 4?
It was up there.
Could have been up
obviously
there.
Maybe a bigger game as well, didn't it? But that was,
exactly.
That was it. Obviously, the only other change was surprising change, I'll say. Young Wilson coming in for his first start. Didn't he look out of place? I
don't hate
thought
that.
It was decent. Yeah,
that's a game like against Dundee. Let's be honest, who are Dundee? They're shit.
You can say that now.
Yes, pot kettle black. I get it. We're rubbish. We're dug meat, and we're at the time bottom of the league or whatever. But let's be honest. We've got a lot of talent in the team, better than the fucking bus drivers that Dundee have got, and that's the team. That kind of game is where you play a youngster like that. Definitely for me. I think I clapped when I seen him on the team sheet. So that's a bold move, and I quite like it.
I like it. Says a lot when Barry Mackay and Liam Boyce are not in the matchday squad again. I think they are the first to probably be.
There's a number
shown the door. Yeah, in January.
And see, the thing is, boy, annoying. Well, I say annoyingly, he will go with a farewell. Thanks for what you done when we needed you and stuff like that. But Boyce will get a contract, no bother, at a championship level team or somewhere lower down in the Premier League. Barry Mackay though, what's he gonna do?
I reckon there's a Premiership team out there that goes, you know what, we can bring him back to, because he's got those flashes, and I bet you'll sign him on the 3 years again, and he'll probably have 2 good games, and then that'll be it.
And injured for 2 of the 3 years. I'm going to put it. I want to say it here first. He'll go to Motherwell.
I could see it. Yep. I think that's.
I don't know why. Call it a feeling. Is it that kind of Motherwell shithousery about him?
If Kilmarnock played on a grass pitch, I would also say there was an opportunity of him going in there as well. I think he's the kind of player
they can take Boyce.
McInnes would take him. I think 100%.
McInnes would take him. I think that's definitely an option there. But I personally will not shed one tear to see either of them go, especially Mackay.
Tears of joy.
It's just been possibly. It's just been. Everybody knows that, right? This is the thing that frustrates everybody. Everybody knows he has the ability. He has that bit in him. The problem is you do not see it. And when you want him to go in for a challenge, he is non-existent. And that's what frustrates. John Cahoon on our pod way back, what was it? Pod number 17, if you want to go and listen to it.
Episode 7, where he said he hated Tam.
He hated Tam, ripped Tam a new arsehole, which was really funny. In fact, actually do go back and listen to it because it was funny.
It was brilliant.
John Cahoon said it. All Hearts fans want is for you to play in a Hearts shirt like they would. That's all he wants. That's all we want, and it's true.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Nah, I think we're spot on. Even, is it Musa or Drame or whatever? He came in, had a good game again, and I think that shows pecking order again. There we go. Oda's still to come back in, was also, I'd happily never see play again, but that's another one. But they two players are just, I think there's 2 or 3 ahead of them both now in their positions, at least anyway.
100%.
Yeah. Anyway, so welcome back to our top goal scorer, Lee's top goal scorer, Lauren Shankland. It's nice to see him on the score sheet again. And that goal, it just sums up a Lauren Shankland goal of last season, or the last 2 seasons really. And took it well, obviously, to start the game. Obviously, Musa missed a chance just prior before that in the first half, wasn't it? But we started well, and then obviously the goal, good start to the game.
Definitely.
I think what you found with the way in which we set up, so Shankland in behind, and then having Musa and Wilson as a sort of front 2, I think that left Shankland a bit more space, and I think he enjoyed that little bit more space in the round, which to me is probably maybe where he actually should play. When we've got a couple of lads up front who, okay, they're not quick, but they've got a little bit more pace around them. They've got more movement about them. They can pull defenders left, right, and leave space for Shankland. And, we've all said it before. It's the one thing that defenders hate is defending against anybody who can run with the ball.
Yep.
With a wee bit of pace about them.
100%, and you can probably see that for the first goal as well. We really pressed on that left-hand side, and it's great ball in for Penrice again, as we talked about. But I thought once that goal went in, was it pressure lifted off Shankland's back? Was it, I don't know, a relief? Was it just him going, you know what, going to take the game by the scruff of the neck? I thought it was one of the best performances we've seen in a long time. And even that's, it is. I don't think Shankland's been bad this season. I just don't think he's managed to score. But I thought his overall performance, I thought he was everywhere on Saturday. And I think, was it that sense of relief, you reckon, Ando, that he's got that off his back now?
Definitely. It's and I agree with everything you just said there, which is like, and all pundits and whatnot have called this out as well. It's like, even though he hasn't been putting the ball in the back of the net, he hasn't been bad. Like, he's still been trying as hard as he possibly can. Recovering the ball or whatever. Even dropping back to try and make play. Or try and build up the play a little bit more, but. Aye, it's one of those. It's like he's sitting there all tense, and then he's scored a goal, and it's like like that's it. It's like the weight has been lifted. You can see it just in the way he carries himself after it. Like then, if you focus in on the goal celebrations, is like I think pretty much every single on-field player comes over to say to him like "fucking well done, man," or whatever, and that's massive. Like confidence and momentum is everything in football, and I think if I'm not expecting anything against Copenhagen. That's going to be a really, really tough game, as I'm sure we'll cover. But Kilmarnock are crap. They just are, right? And yes, I'm saying it now before we even get into.
I don't want to cut you off here, Ando. I don't want to cut you off, but there is an issue.
What is the issue?
He got a booking to make it his 5th booking of the season.
So he did.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. Damn it. Because he's leading the way in the disciplinary table so far this season. Is it 8 yellows or something? I think he's in all competitions. So
yeah. So if you don't know and are listening and are like, where is Shankland on Sunday? He is unfortunately suspended for the game.
Pissed on my chips, that. That's annoying.
At least you didn't make any bold predictions without.
Well, okay, I'll make a prediction. He's not going to score against Copenhagen, and he'll probably bag a hat trick against Petrol Club because they'll be shite as well.
And he'll have a week's rest there. Yeah.
Aye, and he's the point I'm getting at is in the next game, Copenhagen aside, I would expect him to kick on from it because a good striker will be able to. That's him bounce back.
And as you said, Kev,
that's
what is
my bold prediction.
Three goals behind top goal scorer in the league.
Something like that, yeah. I think that's him on 3, top goal scorers on 6. So I mean, it's not in the grand scheme of things, an impossible task on him. Yeah. You could quite easily see him, with goals against. I think we've got St Johnstone, we've got Hibs, of course, we've got Dundee United, Ross County. These are teams that he scored goals against last season.
Yeah.
And his first goal on Saturday was, in my opinion, what he should have done with his header opportunity against Celtic 2 weeks previous to that. The cross comes in, and this time he puts it back to the way it came. It does look like, don't get me wrong, their keeper has made an absolute Ricky Hunt of it. But I mean,
wasn't he the only one, to be fair, on that game, was it?
Oh no. But I think if he had done the same thing in the Celtic game, I think he was I want to get this on target. Where if he'd gone back the same direction as a cross, I don't think that Casper gets to that one. But it was great to see, and I think the other side of it, it must it lifted the stadium.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? It lifts the stadium. It lifts him as a player. It lifts the rest of the players, and I think that showed again. What was it? It was 8 minutes or something like that between that goal and the second.
Right. It's funny when you watch the goal back and you're like, you listen to the crowd reaction. It's half cheer, but it's half sigh of relief at the same time, and everyone's like, "Oh, thank God, he's finally scored."
That's everyone that's been
collectively like, yes,
putting a tenner on him for first goal scorer every week as it's finally come in. I'm like, yes.
And then obviously, as you say, 8 minutes later, he just pops up at the right time again. From the rebound of the goal.
Yeah, and that goes back to what Ando said. Even although he's not been hitting the net in past games, what he has been doing is he's still been involved. He's trying to recycle the ball. He's trying to get it into channels to give himself opportunities, of course, but give the rest of the team opportunities. And what the second goal showed you was the fact that he was just in the right place at the right time. That's the Shankland that we seen last year.
Yeah.
That's the Shanklands who scored goals that probably papered over cracks last season. That's where we're at the moment. Are we starting to see a better quality of play out with his goals? Yeah, that could be debated for many, many hours. And this is not the day or the time to do that. But I think what you've seen is just sheer relief of getting the ball over the line and into the net, and I will say he was very unfortunate not to get a hat-trick.
Are you talking about the one in the last minute, or there was one prior to that as well? But that last minute, that was a good save to be fair, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's the opportunity. Yeah, the keeper's done really well to get down low to his right hand side. There's a call out there though, is why the hell was he not screaming for that ball when Forrest takes it off his toes?
Oh yeah,
right.
That actually bugged me so much, to be honest.
And also, that little hobbit that was in charge of the game on Saturday. How the hell is that not a penalty?
Oh yeah, I know. I don't know if it's because he doesn't go down quick enough.
That doesn't make a difference.
Oh no, I agree. But it's.
This is
fine
right?
Well, Kev, it's going to be in that review this week, like it was the Aberdeen red card that should have been a red card.
And see this, right?
Hearts should have had a penalty at the weekend, and it was for this. And
this is probably something we should talk about. Maybe not one for tonight, because it probably requires Corbett to be back here and kick off and go mental like we all know he can. But right, where's the punitive action on this? Right, so we've got VAR review panel. So they look at decisions and they go, "Oh, well done, right, well done. You got most of them right, but you got this one wrong." What happens? Why are they? Aye, exactly. It's like, oh, okay, there's an acknowledgement that you got it wrong. Where's the program of improvement? How are you making things better? Is it just a case of, right, we're going to submit the homework? It's like getting your homework marked at school or whatever. Like, the report comes out once a week. Right, we've made 56 controversial decisions and we got 48 of them wrong. Right? I just don't get it. It's frustrating the life out of me. To the point where you see...
Do we not have a head of VAR that lasted like 50 days or something?
He got poached for a bigger job, didn't he? For more money.
Yeah.
And now we've got somebody else from England. I don't know. I did see the presser about it, but the point being, whoever, it might be, whoever it is, doesn't really matter. There's nothing like, I very well could telling them that they got it wrong. What are you doing about it though? It's like, are we going to take John Beaton out of refereeing games because he keeps favouring the old firm? Right, okay, that's tinfoil hat stuff, but you know what I mean. Like, if someone's constantly getting it wrong, what's happening? They're still refereeing every week.
Yeah, you're bang on right. There's no reprimand at all for poor refereeing, and the standard. This is what I remember. Tom and I having a big thing about VAR many seasons ago, but this was the whole thing about it, as far as I was concerned, is that it's there to actually improve.
You're going to say I was right now, Kev?
No, I'm telling you, it's there to make improvements.
He's telling you were right from 3 years ago. So, like, if you want to stand on that victory, you take it.
I just said it'd be shite, so that's right.
You did. But the whole purpose of VAR is to make it better, to give improvement to the actual referees, to make sure that they're doing the right thing. You know,
how many times in the European games have we really discussed VAR or wrong decisions? Or
I'll tell you though, that wank again. I'm going to use the same phrase. That wank in Bruges, whoever it was that refereed that game, he was shite. He was proper SFA quality refereeing shite.
I mean, like obviously we've seen the wee things and the refs are a bit shite, as you say, but the actual big decisions, we've not had like a missed penalty or something like that. Well, we have had a missed penalty, but
it's just so much better when it's. We've covered this before in UEFA competitions where it's available. It's just so much better because it's faster. There's no ambiguity. It basically just gets radioed. You fucked this one up. It's a penalty. Give the penalty now. Right? There's none of this having to swallow your own pride and reverse your own decision and all that sort of stuff. It's I don't know. We didn't want to go down the rabbit hole of how the SFA are absolutely fucking dreadful. But let's just state the fact the SFA are fucking dreadful. VAR is crap and it's ruining the game. And that is I never thought I'd say that. I genuinely thought VAR would be implemented, it would take a while to get there, and it would be better. Like, so we've learned all the mistakes from England and all that sort of stuff. It's actually getting worse. It's worse now than when it was put in. But again, this isn't an anti-VAR show. Let's do a special on that or whatever. Or not.
VAR.
I've already wasted enough breath on it.
That's it.
Yeah, fair enough.
But you're right, he is an absolute pellet of a man, and I think was it Colin Stephen?
Colin Stephen it was, yes.
Yeah, there you go. And the VAR referee was Andrew Dallas. Fucking hell.
I genuinely think Colin Stephen is the worst. You're going to name another name, someone is, but I think he is the worst in the league.
I think probably there. He just has no authority at all. It's like, you try to send, imagine like, try to send you off. Tam, you'd probably bend over and take it and just go, "I was okay, ref." Like, I could send, because see a player folding him into like a fucking deck chair. For trying to send him off, he's just no authority, no respect on the park. Absolutely crap. Andrew Dallas, the VAR as well, equally dreadful.
Steve McLean.
Oh, he's probably up there as well.
Nick
and that
Walsh,
boy for bargain hunting. Oh, he's
David Dickinson. That's the one.
There you go.
Right.
And we'll move on.
Game. To be honest, I think other than that, I don't really think there was anything to talk about. We never felt the game was in doubt. Thought we probably would have been good enough to have a couple of goals other than that, but we didn't finish our chances, has been the story of the full season. But yeah, I thought we looked solid other than that. Anything to add? Talking points?
Dundee had absolutely no shots on target, so
well, that'll be that then,
exactly. There was absolutely zero danger from them in that game. So
I was going to say, I can't remember Gordon really having a save to make as such.
I was thinking that about myself, so that makes sense. I
think there was the header was in the last 10 minutes of the game, and I think that was probably about the closest they came. But I must have been
where he came to the edge of the box and sort of took it quickly.
Yeah. But the BBC stats say goalkeeper saves, Craig Gordon 0. Yeah, so there you go.
Fair enough. Well done, Craig Gordon. Right, we'll move on, and obviously we're off the bottom of the table, which leads us to, well, actually we better talk Thursday first. I was going to try and be seamless there and talk about how we've got 11th being 10th, but we better speak about Copenhagen first of all. So, what is it they're saying then? A point needed against Copenhagen. I think this will probably be the toughest test we've faced, I think. Obviously, 100%. Heidenheim come with a good pedigree. They're clearly a team that know how to get results, but I think Copenhagen will be a different beast in the fact that they'll come out and try and just play their game and look to sort of batter us from the off, I think.
I love what you've said there about Heidenheim, who haven't won since they came to Tynecastle. But yeah, thanks for that. Well,
that's what I say. But
beaten by them.
I still don't think Heidenheim played they played their game in the fact, but they let us play. Do you know what I mean? It was one of those. It was I think Copenhagen are going to come like a Celtic and Rangers. Well, more so a Celtic, and try and sort of from the off attack us from the off foot. But yeah, did anyone see anything? Reckon we'll be able to.
No,
or is that a case where it's a free hit and we want a performance?
Well, even then, just try and keep it respectable. I know that's a fucking stupid thing to say, but it really is. It's like we just go out there, give a good account of yourself, them, and don't get into any stupid battles. Right? You have to have one eye on Petrol Club the week after, and say, I think I'm saying that right. It is Petrol Club, isn't it?
I think there's no L. Is it? Is it Petrol Club or Club?
Fuck it, who cares, right? You keep one eye on that game. Then I get involved in any stupid battles. Then I get sent off. Whatever. Try and keep a clean head, because then you never know what might happen in the rest of the league. It's all very well saying you need a point against Copenhagen. Let's just assume we're not going to get that, and make sure that you get the win the week after, right? And you might find yourself in a beneficial scenario. But realistically, the Danish league, as dross as it is far better than the Scottish League, and Copenhagen are joint top 8 now. They played 17, won 9, drawn 6, lost 2. So they're they're not going to be any mugs.
Yeah.
But the record in Europe isn't great.
Yeah, I know. You're
It's
right.
like they've really focused their season on performing well in the league, understandably, and that the Conference League is not going to be their focal point, which is all well, and that's their way of doing it. Fine, don't have a problem with that. We do actually sit, I think, a point ahead of them at the moment in the league
Check that.
standings.
You're right. Aye.
I mean, I am going to, if we come out of that with a 0-0 draw or a point, I would actually go as far to say that would be the best result of the season. Maybe this actual year, that could be down there as the best result.
If we get a draw against Copenhagen.
Away from home,
I'd probably go with that.
Yeah. You know,
and
it's been
until we beat Hibs on Boxing
and
Day.
the draw probably mean we get the playoff. So, aye.
Well, I think
what it means.
You'd need a draw against Copenhagen. You'd need to go and win against Petrol Club Cup, whatever they are.
I think with 10 points, though, you would maybe get right in thinking you'd either get seeded or you would maybe even get through to the 16.
Well, it's the top 8. The top 8 is going to be a stretch. But it's maybe doable. Again, it because
depends on the results.
I actually quite like this new format. It took me a while to figure it out, but it definitely is better because it's not a case of like after 2 or 3 games you're absolutely scunnered.
Yeah, 100%.
You still do have, because everyone's playing each other, and you're not in like one little defined group of 4 or whatever. You've other results that happen, like Maverick results, like, I don't know, Paphos beating Fiorentina or whatever, just because it's the 2 teams that I can see on the screen in front of me. Like that result happening can benefit you in some way, whereas in other years gone by it wouldn't have. You're relying on something happening within your own group, so you never know what we could find ourselves in a decent scenario. But yeah, I do agree. Get the draw against Copenhagen on Thursday. That's up there with the best result of the season, I think.
Yeah. Must say, I'm also sick of 5:45 kickoffs away from him.
It's crap, innit? It's nah. I mean, it's fine. It gives me an excuse to finish work early, but it's not enjoyable.
Agreed. Other than that, I think we'll obviously bigger game. I don't know if you could call it that. I think every game's a big game at the moment, but we've got Kilmarnock on Sunday without Lawrence Shankland. I think the big question is, who do we think will lead the line on Sunday?
I think I want to use an Ando phrase. Don't change your winning side. I appreciate you're going to have to with the loss of Shankland, but I think that's possibly why he played Wilson. Did he play Wilson and Musa up front on Saturday there, with the thought that actually at some point there's a high chance that Shankland will pick up a yellow card and maybe miss a game?
Possibly,
do you go as far to say that with it being on the plastic, actually, Wilson, Musa maybe better on the plastic pitch? The ball usually rolls a bit quicker. The bounce is weird as hell with regards to that pitch. And thankfully, I think this is the last season they'll be playing on it.
Yeah, it will be.
But you're right. I think that I would rather see that and then see a Vargas or a Forrest come in rather than see a boys come in type thing.
No chance.
Exactly.
We're past that now.
I think. Sorry, Andy, I was going to say, I think from the point of view that we're playing away from home, I think I could see probably something like Grant coming in and shoring up that midfield rather than actually playing sort of somebody sitting in the Shankland position behind Wilson and Musa. I can see more along the lines of that, being a wee bit more, I don't want to say defensive minded, but in that realm. Sorry, Ando.
No, you're fine. You're good.
Aye. We'll see, I suppose, and then that's on the hope that we don't pick any injuries or something tomorrow night as well. So, not tomorrow.
One of these seasons,
Thursday night. Exactly that.
We're getting absolutely riddled with injuries. I think last season we were all right. We didn't obviously get a couple. Benny gets posted missing for fucking years at a time. But it's fingers crossed. Thursday night goes okay, and we get through the festive period with little and a walking winded.
Yeah. So predictions then. Obviously, we'll do the Copenhagen and Kelly game. Ando, you want to kick us off?
Copenhagen will be 2-0 defeat. I think they're just going to be too strong. But again, try and give a good account of yourself. Try and damage limit it as much as you can. Damage limit, sorry, as much as you can. And Kilmarnock, it's a tough one that, because I've been to Kilmarnock a lot, and I've never seen us win there. And I'm not going on Sunday, but that place just gives me the fear. It's a coin flip game for me. It could be a 2-0 or a 3-0 win in either direction, or it could be a 0-0 draw. I really can't call it. Then I think what will give me confidence on the day is seeing what the team is. I don't think, as you've just covered, Kev, we're past being able to put Liam Boyce in or anyone up front. I 100% go with what you say, and as long as that plays out, then I think we've got the ability to sneak it by a goal. So I'll go 2-1.
Kev?
To Hearts.
So, I'd like to see a 0-0 draw tomorrow night. I know we didn't concede any on Saturday, but Copenhagen are a totally different beast. I think they've got a 6'4" striker. They've got a Brazilian striker. They've got a fairly formidable front 3-4 players.
They were playing Champions League last year, weren't they? Really?
Yeah, and I know that they sold their main striker. I think they sold him to Wolfsburg or something like that for 20 million euros. So I fully understand that they are a different club. But let's be let's be honest. Kelly went there. We're unfortunate to get beat after I think they got a man sent off and then got beat 2-0, or they conceded a penalty and then got beat 2-0, something along those lines. So from that point of view, I would like to see, and you said it earlier on, I'd like to see a performance, but a performance that's respectable. Yeah, if we get beat 2-0, that's fine. But as long as we've given an account of ourselves, we've asked them questions, I'd be quite happy with that. So I'd like to see 0-0, but I can see a 2-0 defeat. Sunday's a different one. It's a different beast. I think I'm going to go down on Sunday.
Oh, cheers, Kev.
Nice, no problem, mate. And from that point of view, I'm going to be bold. I'm going to say 3-2 victory.
You're going to be in for a fun game then, Kev, if it's 3-2.
Yeah, 3-2 in Shankland. This will be good. Yeah.
It was 3-2 the last time I went there, which was just at the start of last season. Yeah. So from that point of view, that's why I'm sticking with that particular prediction.
I'll take it. Definitely take it.
You want the road with 3 points is all you need.
Yeah, I'll be positive today. I think we'll get a 1-1 on Thursday. A 1-1 win, sorry. And Sunday, I don't know. It's one of those things. Kelly haven't been good this season, but neither have we. So let's just say
no, written all over it then.
Aye, but we're both conceding a lot of goals. I'll cop out and do a Corbett Desmond 2-2. There you go.
Fair enough.
Called it. I knew you were going to do that.
Yeah. Anyway, any ad, boys?
No, I think we're good.
Nah,
we're good.
Me too. Well, I think Corbett will be back during the week next week, so we'll hopefully have a full house before Christmas.
Back on the 17th.
He'll be back for the Petro Cup game.
I thought the Petro Cup game was next week. Is it not?
Yeah, the 19th. But he's back in the UK, I believe, a week today, or flies back a week today. He'll not be back till a week tomorrow. So likelihood is we'll not catch him until after Petro Cup. Before
the derby, it'll be. So, aye, wonderful. Well, cheers anyway, gents. I will speak to you next week.
Will do. No bother. See you later.
Gorgado.